Talk about tonight. Donald Trump is losing his mind and his hands. He's inventing new ways to do makeup wrong, and he has a dream that one day he will not be judged by the content of the Epstein file. Let's kick things off with distractions. What it looks like when they're fed to the media and what it looks like when they don't work. Because right now, Donald Trump is desperate to move on from the Epstein files, but the story is only building.
Imagine getting absolutely demolished easy. A guy who sounds like he's politely asking for a manager. But instead, he's dismantling your entire personality on national television. That's what just happened to Donald Trump. Josh Johnson didn't come. In swinging, he came in whispering, and somehow that made it 10 times worse. No smoke, no flames, just surgical strikes of deadpan truth that left Trump's bravado, leaking ego all over the floor. This wasn't a roast. This was a quiet.
And held him down, shook him a little bit. We didn't do this one. But while we wait to see if Ghislaine survives this interview, Trump has been doing everything that he can to keep those files under wraps. He's even got his friends in Congress trying to help. Mike Johnson shut down the House just to avoid a vote on the release of the files.
What do you get when a man who speaks like a software update slowly roasting your Wi-Fi router decides to drag the president through the mud? You get Josh Johnson, America's quietest assassin, rolling up to the mic with all the menace of a librarian, and somehow detonating Donald Trump's ego without even raising his voice.
Now, President Trump made big promises about lowering drug prices once he got into office, but all the haters said he was never actually going to get it done. Well, guess what, haters? His promises just got even bigger.
We're going to get the drug prices down, not 30 or 40%, which would be great, not 50 or 60, no. We're going to get them down 1,000%, 600%, 500%, 1,500%. Numbers that are not even thought to be achievable.
Yeah, I also thought it would not be achievable to lower drug prices.
If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. Josh doesn't yell, he doesn't rant, he doesn't even sweat. He just calmly rearranges the alphabet in a way that makes Trump look like someone who failed the capture test on the presidency, OHI. While others come at Trump with sledgehammers, Josh shows up with surgical scissors and a look of mild disappointment. And somehow, it's 10 times more humiliating.
Just so you understand, lowering drug prices 100% means it's free. Lowering it past that means they're going to give you money. Next year's Forbes billionaires list is just going to be a bunch of dudes with leukemia. Okay? On the bright side, we're actually going to be bankrupting insurance companies instead of the other way around. You know, if Trump had enacted this sooner, that CEO would have shot Luigi.
This isn't some angry Twitter thread or late-night monologue drenched in spit. No, this is intellectual death by paper cuts delivered with a straight face. Johnson doesn't roast Trump with fire. He slowly removes the screws holding Trump's personality. Together, one smirking joke at a time. If satire were a martial art, Josh would be a black belt in passive-aggressive demolition.
Trump actually does have a plan here. It's not to put a cap on the drug prices. That'd be too easy and simple.
We're working very hard right now to get the other countries to lift up their prices a little bit and to get the drug companies to put it to them. And if they don't, the drug companies will have a lot of problems, and they are mostly agreed to it. And if the countries don't, then as an example, if it's Europe, I'll say that's okay. You're no longer allowed to sell.
And Trump, bless his reality TV soul, walked into it like it was a Miss Universe pageant, and he forgot his spray tan. Because nothing, and we mean nothing, deflates a man who thrives on loud applause and fake bravado, like a guy who calmly points out that he's basically your uncle on Facebook with worse spelling and nuclear codes. You could practically feel the air leave the room when Josh dissected Trump's greatest hits, like that time he stared directly at a solar eclipse, a man who tried to sell bleach as a health tonic, a president who tweets like a teen with a data plan and a grudge. Johnson just sat there, face unbothered, voice unshaken, laying out the ridiculousness like it was part of a sociology lecture. He didn't even need to exaggerate. That's the kicker. When your greatest comedic weapon is the truth, and the truth is that Donald Trump once suggested raking forests to stop wildfires, you're not doing stand-up, you're doing damage. Johnson's genius lies in his ability to act like he's not even trying. He delivers one-liners like he's reading off an Excel spreadsheet, and yet the punchlines hit like steel chairs. Trump, a man who wants everything to be the greatest, most incredible, no one's ever seen anything like it, suddenly became a punchline so dry it needed moisturizer.
That they clear Congress out for the summer like they found a dookie in the pool. But trying to shut down the release of the files only makes them more interesting. So over the last week, Trump has been throwing every distraction he can at us. And I want to go through some of them to show you how desperate he's getting. Let's start with his go-to distraction. Obama!
The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama.
And when Josh turned his eye to Trump's vocabulary, oh boy, there's no political spin that can save a man who thinks the word oranges is the plural of origins. Johnson casually tossed out this observation with the kind of deadpan delivery that made it feel like a technical support review. Trump's linguistic disasters aren't just bloopers. They're full-scale grammatical hostage situations, and Josh is the hostage negotiator, refusing to take the nonsense seriously. Then came the business legacy, because what's a Trump takedown without revisiting the great empire of golden toilets and failed steaks? Josh calmly recounted the Trump University disaster like it was a bedtime story gone horribly wrong. And the audience, they weren't just laughing. They were howling with that special kind of laughter that happens when you realize someone just told the truth out loud in public. It wasn't just funny. It was cathartic asterisk.
Trump's treating Americans like a kid you can bribe with a treat. Allow me to demonstrate what Donald Trump is going for here. I don't care about pedophilia anymore.
This wasn't a comedy for applause. This was a group therapy session led by a guy who looks like he's allergic to small talk, but is somehow perfectly built for poetic vengeance. Josh's commentary on Trump's ego might have been the most brutal part, because when you tell a man obsessed with crowd size that his approval ratings could fit on a cocktail napkin, you're not just mocking him, you're rewriting his autobiography in Comic Sans. And Johnson didn't blink. He didn't gloat. He just said it like it was weather data. Dry, clinical, devastating. Trump's political style is all sound and fury, signifying spray tan. Johnson, he's the storm that comes after. He doesn't shout about corruption. He points out that Trump can't spell it. He doesn't rage about scandals. He just wonders aloud if we should expect anything different from a guy who thought Sharpies could redraw hurricane paths. And let's not forget the presidency itself. Josh didn't need to scream about the chaos. He simply broke it down like a teacher walking through a failed group project. Trump's 4 years looked less like leadership and more like a reality show someone forgot to cancel. And Josh was there like, okay, so this contestant tried to build a wall with no budget and a Sharpie map.
Jeffrey Epstein died back in 2019, but not since Tupac Shakur has a dead man dropped so many bangers, all right? Yesterday, video of the government questioning him back in 2010 started making the rounds, and you'll never guess whose name came up. Go ahead, guess.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
And then, as if that wasn't enough, Johnson turned to the first post-presidency phase. The rallies, the social media bans, the legal drama that makes Law and Order look like a Disney cartoon. Trump went from leader of the free world to guy yelling at golf balls on the weekend, and Josh just tilted his head and made the whole thing sound like a bad sequel no one asked for. There's a reason this roast hit differently. Most critics come at Trump like he's a monster. Josh treated him like a malfunctioning appliance. It was an observation so quiet it echoed, a gentle reminder that if your entire following would buy a branded Bible and an NFT from you in the same week, you're not leading a movement. You're running a televangelist infomercial with flags. And somehow, that's the magic of Josh Johnson. He doesn't destroy Trump by shouting over him. He dismantles him by describing him carefully, casually, brutally. He doesn't punch up, punch down, or throw haymakers. He just calmly notices you. And somehow that's 10 times worse. Asterisk.
That down as a yes? I'll be honest, I've never heard anybody plead anything other than the fifth before. But this guy's so guilty, he's calling out every amendment he can think of. Like, no, what's the one with the women voting? 19, throw that in too. Now, this video is dropping less than a day since we found out Pam Bondi reportedly warned Trump back in May that his name was in the files multiple times. And it just so happens her next appearance was scheduled last night.
This wasn't your usual political roast full of shouting and sweaty outrage number. This was a clinical dissection with the precision of a brain surgeon and the emotional detachment of a DMV employee. It was quiet, calculated, and completely devastating. See? In comedy, loud mockery is like fireworks. Flashy, noisy, and over in seconds. But subtle satire, that's a landmine. You laugh, then you pause, and then it hits. And by the time you realize it wasn't just a joke, it's already too late. Josh's brand of satire doesn't ask for your attention. It steals it. While everyone else is screaming into microphones, Josh walks in with his quiet voice, delivers a 5-word observation, and casually obliterates the illusion of grandeur. Some folks spend years building, and somehow that mirror's reflection is way funnier and way scarier than anything you could make up. Asterisk.
Don't care about Coke or Trump's health. Don't worry. He's got some true crime for you.
This morning, the Trump administration releasing more than 230,000 pages of records related to the assassination of civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr.
That's how bad things are for Trump. His back is against the wall so hard, he's releasing more Black history. Might be the worst distraction because all he did was remind us that he can declassify thousands of secret files, and people noticed.
Bernice King, the daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., posted this picture on social media with the caption that simply reads, "Now do the Epstein files."
And let's be honest, Trump thrives in chaos. He bathes in it. He's like a shark, but instead of water, it's confusion and noise that keep him alive. You scream at him, he screams louder. You insult him, he hurls 5 back. But Josh doesn't scream. He doesn't throw punches. He just leans in like he's about to ask you for your Wi-Fi password and instead drops a nuclear truth bomb disguised as a one-liner. And the next you're wondering how this man got the nuclear codes. It's that delicate balance between absurdity and logic where one highlights the other until it becomes unavoidable. The audience reaction? Pure chaos, but the quiet kind. That eerie combo of stifled gasps, awkward laughter, and then the slow, dawning realization, wait a second, he's actually right. You know, it's next-level satire when the laughter is immediately followed by contemplative silence. That's not just funny. That's surgical. That's he just rearranged my worldview and I'm not even mad about it.
Trump knows
Kinda funny,
Epstein so
asterisk.
well. They were friends. Trump lived so close to Epstein in Florida that Epstein had to knock on his door and let him know he was on the sex offender registry. Like, that's how close they lived together. He knocked on the door, was like, "Hi, the court has ordered me to notify you that I'm in the area. I have been convicted of a few crimes, and I left my suit jacket over here last night, so..." That's great.
This says everything about where we are as a country. The fact that it takes a soft-spoken comic to deliver what the 24/7 news cycle can't, that should tell us something. When institutions twist themselves in knots, trying to sound neutral, comedians, like Josh, show up and say what everyone's thinking in the most unapologetically precise way possible. While others try to shout over the noise, he whispers the truth, and somehow that whisper echoes louder than a Trump rally PA system. Trump's obsession with dominance, that's his whole brand. The bravado, the branding, the catchphrases, it's all part of the same gladiator act. But what happens when someone like Josh walks in and doesn't challenge that dominance? Doesn't engage it, just observes it from a distance like it's some rare zoo animal. That's what makes it lethal. You can't beat someone in their game if you play it. But Josh doesn't play. He narrates. It's not the volume that destroys.
Doing tariffs?
It's the
Damn
accuracy.
right we are. I ain't scared of shit. Not even more expensive housing? Tariffs are off. But that will increase the trade deficit. On again. But what about the price of breakfast? Off in the morning, on at night. But Canada is retaliating. Off with Canada, on with China. We'll go to war with China. I don't give a f. Josh, China has nukes. No tariffs.
Asterisk, no tariffs on China. In fact, greater than, and Josh's aim laser precise. He didn't have to dig through scandals or scandals about scandals. He didn't need to scream about insurrections or impeachments. He just calmly pointed out that the emperor's hair is made of cotton candy, and somehow everyone finally noticed. So here we are. The Teflon Don and vaporized him with a line that sounded like it came from a confused librarian. Trump dodged the FBI. He dodged impeachment. But he didn't dodge this dry as sandpaper roast that hit him in the only place he truly cares about, his image. And there's no NDA or hush money that can fix that. And if you think this was bad, oh boy, just wait till Josh Johnson sets his sights on Elon Musk. The more Johnson spoke, the more Trump shrank. Not physically, though that would have been amazing, but in credibility, in logic, in presence. Every quiet line chipped away at the illusion. Every deadpan joke revealed another crack in the golden statue. It was like
many
watching
people that
someone
came out
burst a
and they were
balloon
like,
by
look,
whispering into it.
the whole reason that we joined this MAGA movement, the whole reason that we thought Trump being in office was a good thing is because it would mean more good jobs for Americans. And look, if you genuinely believed that, then I don't. You know what I mean? No, I'm not being a. I'm saying, like, if
Asterisk, in an age of overexposure where everything is loud and obnoxious and desperate for attention, Josh Johnson's greatest weapon might be his ability to not care if you notice, which ironically makes you notice even more. He's not trying to trend, he's trying to tell the truth. And somehow in Trump's world of hyperbole, that makes him the most dangerous guy in the room. So, no, Trump wasn't ready, because how do you clap back at a guy who sounds like your accountant but roasts like a samurai? Johnson didn't just roast Trump. He quietly evicted him from the land of respectability. He kicked him out of the conversation without even breaking a sweat. It was surgical, effortless, and honestly kind of beautiful, because in the end, this wasn't about political ideology. This was about clarity, about watching someone calmly point out that the emperor's clothes aren't just missing. They were never there to begin with. Josh didn't need to scream. He just needed a mic and a little patience. And what's more devastating than that? Nothing. Abso asterisk.